Hello guys, how are you? Welcome to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to share my first video with you, and the topic is about my false ceiling or the POP design. So recently we've been seeing a lot of images and posts on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, very inspiring ideas for false ceiling and all that. But I would like to share my experience of how to design a simple but elegant false ceiling design. I'm also going to share some tips and tricks in this video, also some do's and don'ts, so that you have to be very careful while designing a false ceiling for your house. I have a 2 BHK house in Bangalore, and I'm going to show you the simplest way of designing a false ceiling, and also I will be talking about the uses and the advantages and disadvantages of having a false ceiling. So let's get on to the video without wasting any time. So this is my living room false ceiling that you see here. It is in a combination of white and brown. We've kept it intentionally in that combination because my woodwork also goes well with it. In a later video, I will definitely take you through the home tour, so you will see how the false ceiling goes really well with the woodwork as well. But as of now, if you look at it, we have kept it very simple. In fact, we had all the thoughts of having only white for the false ceiling, but after the woodwork was completed, we realized that some pop-up colors will really make the room lively and bright, and so we went ahead with the all-time favorite wood color. But there is a difference that you see here if you focus on the picture, and if you notice that there is a texture added to the false ceiling. It is not a simple brown color paint that we have done. So since the woodwork also had some texture to it, we wanted to have the same texture maintained in the false ceiling as well. So we kept everything else white, the surrounding, the frames white, and the inner part of the false ceiling was kept the same texture that we had, almost the same texture that we had on the woodwork. We also have kept some spotlights and also some cove lights, just to brighten up the space. But as you all know, honestly, on a daily basis we really don't use these cove lights and spotlights. Tube lights are always the best. But this is from a fancy perspective. Yes, we have kept it, but very minimal. We don't have, even from the cove light perspective, we have just single colors. I have seen houses where you have the blues and the greens and the yellows running around everywhere in the false ceiling. I don't think it gives an elegant look, so we have simply stuck on to warm white shade, because the tube light is bright, the spotlights are bright white that we have chosen for. So we wanted the cove light to give a very dim shade to the room. So we've gone with a very simple striped false ceiling. If you notice, we have gone to only 2 layers of the false ceiling. If you go for multiple layers, the roof really kind of comes down. And also, in addition to that, when you keep the chandeliers or the fan, it almost kind of touches your head, especially if people are like slightly above 5 feet or 5'6". It's like it touches the head. And in bedrooms, especially if children climbs on the bed, they can easily touch the fans, which is very scary. So that's one reason we always have to keep in mind that the false ceiling has to be really at a height and calculated in a way that the fans are not touchable. So that's one point that we have to keep in mind. Second point that we have to also keep in mind is that the spotlights needs to be at least a feet away from each other, so that there are not too many lights crossing on the ways, and there are very minimal lights to it. The time you switch on the spotlights, the whole room should lit up. That's more than enough. It should not hit your face. The light should not be too much. The light should not be of different colors. It should be just one standard color. That's another thing that you have to keep in mind. And the third thing that you have to always remember when it comes to fall ceiling for a living room is that there should be a frame to it. What I mean by the frame is a putty sort of a thing. It's like a frame, whatever design you have in the middle, to the frame, to the outer part of it, towards the wall side, you should have a frame. You should not just leave the middle part alone, because it looks very dirty in that manner. But when you have the frame across the rectangle or the square shape, it gives a perfect look to the room, and also the room looks really bigger. So the frame is very, very important, and having a slight border of the middle color, whatever you use in the slide on the borders, gives a perfection, gives a completion to the whole design. So this is my experience when it comes to the living room. So tip number 4, what you really have to keep in mind is that the color combinations that you use, the darker color should always be minimal on the false ceiling, and the lighter shade should be prominent one. So this comes in the living room part of it. Now let's go to the dining section. So if you see here, you will see the dining picture, my dining picture. Now the color combination is exactly the same that we have used in the dining area as well, because I have wooden furnitures there as well. I also have a window seater come crockery and puja unit, which is also of the same combination. And as I said earlier, I will definitely take you through the home tour a little later. But in case if any of you are interested to see my house pictures or house videos, do comment in the comment box, so that I can make the video fast and share it with you guys. So there again, cove lights and the spotlights are kept very, very minimal, because it's a dining space and we really don't use that space every day, every now and then. So the lights are very minimal, it is dim lights. Then coming to the kitchen part of it, here is my very colorful and bright kitchen false ceiling. You would have rightly guessed it, what my kitchen color combination is. Yes, it is green and white. If you want to have a tour on my kitchen as well, please do put in the comment box. We'll definitely try and share a video on that. So if you notice, it is exactly the same color, it is exactly the same model, but here I have not kept the outer frames because the space was less. So I have kept only a middle portion of it's basically a piece of what we have in the living and the dining, and taken out from there. You feel the continuity of the design everywhere in the house, the living, the dining and the kitchen, because these three places are very much connected. So the design of the false ceiling is also very much connected here. We didn't want to have a very different design, a flower design in the living room, then a fruit design in the dining room, and then a totally different design in the kitchen. We wanted a flow to it, so that's the reason we kept it. And we also have a passage which leads you to the 2 bedrooms, and this is the false ceiling that you see here on the passages. So this is again a tidbit of what we have in the living and the dining space. Now let's move to the bedrooms. So this is my kids bedroom false ceiling. So this is a very interesting concept that I saw in Pinterest while we were doing the woodwork. So since my child was also small, I felt that this is going to be very interesting for him. This will kind of motivate him to stay in his room and kind of do his routine activities. So it's like a rainbow and some clouds, but this is again very minimal. If you see, the colors are only towards one corner of the room, and the rest of the entire room is plain white and a subtle blue to it, because I have a boy, so it's the blue is a shade is what they say. I really don't know about it, but so I've kept the blue across the room, and that actually gave us an advantage that because my walls are plain white and the roof is also a combination of white and blue, it made the room look much larger and wider. So I think having a design towards the end of the room with a lot of pop-up colors and then leaving the entire roof free is pretty good idea to make your room look bigger. Coming to the master bedroom, Here we wanted to have a different feel altogether, but we really didn't want to go totally different from the living, dining and the kitchen space, so we opted for the striped ones. But the color combination is that what we have used for the wardrobes. My wardrobe is golden and creamish, and it has digital prints on it, with leaves and all that. It's a floral design base. It's not floral, it's about leaf all over. So again, if you're interested in seeing any of my bedrooms, please do put in the comment box. I'll definitely share another video on that. So if you see, this is a combination of white and mustard shade, because mustard is all-time favorite color in bedrooms. So we've tried to keep it striped so that, you know, at any point of time when the cot, if I have to make a wallpaper or if I have to do a texture paint on the wall, I can go for a lighter shade on the walls, that, you know, because my roof is now fully kind of colorful. So this is how my 2 BHK false ceiling has completed. Now let's get into the do's and don'ts part of it. I think, you know, I stay in the 4th floor of the building, and that's the topmost floor, and being in Bangalore we always have an advantage of having a cool weather, though, but also we are on the 4th floor. So as everyone says, false ceiling, I feel, really protects us from the heat, because it's an additional 2 or 3 layers on the roof. So that really helps us to protect, you know, from away from the heat. So compared to the other houses my friends have on the same floor, it's pretty hot when you get inside their houses, but versus my house, you know, it's quite chill, it's quite cool. So I think thanks to the false ceiling that we have done, that's one very big advantage. And two is that the look and feel of the room totally changes. You really don't need to have a very expensive furniture or, you know, too many artifacts to kind of make your rooms look really nice. This is one most cheapest way of making your room look really elegant, your house look really elegant, because POP or false design is not an expensive affair compared to the woodwork or the entire household work that we do. False ceiling is very very reasonable compared to the other costs that we incur. For my entire house, I think I would have spent around 50 to 60,000 for making this designs. And then obviously there is a painting cost associated to it. So once you finish all the woodwork and everything, then you kind of get the painting done, right? So the painting is done at a later stage, which costs you separate. So that also depends on the choice of the paint that you want. If you want to go for a premium one, then obviously the cost goes really high. So all that variants are definitely there, but there is a slight variation in the painting cost for a plain paint versus a texture paint, because you need experts to do the texture paints here. It's different from a normal painting. So I'll give a zoom picture of how a texture paint looks like, and I'll try to give a comparison of how different it is. So the plain looks really kind of very very plain in nature, versus a texture gives a wood effect to it. So this is how the usage of false ceiling is. Now there are certain, actually very few drawbacks to having a false ceiling at home as well, but if you can be a little careful while you make the false ceiling, it'll really kind of make your life easy, and you can accommodate everything in one place. What I mean to say that this is from my personal experience. Always make sure that you do the false ceiling after you finish your woodwork. So we did the other way around, and the drawback was that all the wardrobes where we wanted the loft space actually got reduced, because the false ceiling ate up a lot of space. So from the roof, I think it took away like at least 2 feet. So you lose that space when you make the loft, so your loft becomes really small. So it's always advisable to finish your woodwork and then do the false ceiling, so that then you can actually look out for the remaining space and then plan a good design. Otherwise your design will get cut off. I had to in fact cut a design. I had to remake the whole bedroom because of this issue, because after the woodwork was done there was hardly any space, and it was kind of totally eaten up by the false ceiling, and a major portion of my design was coming towards that corner. So we had to redo the whole false ceiling again. So please bear that in mind, and I think these are the major things that I had in my mind. And coming to the last point, please try to keep your fall ceiling really simple with bare minimum colors. It's max to max 1 or 2 colors, not more than that. Cove lights needs to be matched up with the paint, the texture paint that you're doing. You're doing a bright wood color on the false ceiling and you're keeping a yellow and a red and a blue cove light. It it's too jarring for the eyes. So please make it very subtle so that it gives you a soothing effect and not a theater effect when you enter your house. Hope this video is helpful for you and you were able to kind of take away some inputs from here. So I'm hoping to make more such videos from my own experience, which will really help people who are kind of making their houses, designing their houses. So if you like this video, please do subscribe to my channel. Please click on the bell notification so that you can get my notifications when I post my next set of videos. Do like, do subscribe to my channel, and do wait for my next video as well. And yeah, that's it. So hope you all are taking care of yourself during this pandemic. Have a great day and take care. Bye bye. See you.